We are on the road in Kearney. The KAAPA Ethanol is holding their annual get-together. Chuck Woodside, the CEO, joins us. And Chuck, another year for your shareholders to get together and discuss and kind of celebrate the year. So kind of first give us that broad overview of how KAAPA, kind of the status of it right now.
You bet. We had a great day today. We had a chance to come together and celebrate the success we had in 2014 and talk about the goals and objectives for 2015 and kind of where we see the business going forward.
All right, let's talk about challenges, but also opportunities. And one of those, I know you and your board, I'm sure, as most folks involved in ethanol, spending some time back in D.C. trying to figure out when this RFS situation is going to get figured out. So let's talk about maybe that first, and we'll talk about some of the legislation. So where do you think we are with this RFS?
Well, we know what we've been told by the EPA, which is that they hope to come out with the 2014, 2015, and 2016 RVOs by spring. And so, you know, with that in mind, we anticipate seeing those. I think nobody knows exactly what to expect. For our perspective, it's as much about the terminology as it is about the numbers.
Well, as we talk, I know that EPA said what looks like the middle of May, that is kind of that date that's finally going to happen. But leading up to that time, you have folks like Congressman Goodlatte from Virginia and others now trying to go ahead and circumvent, while maybe a couple of punches have been put at ethanol, to maybe just go ahead and maybe silence it. Do you think that's going to be a possibility?
Well, we know that Big Oil has spent $350 million in trying to defeat the Renewable Fuels Standard, and I think clearly the motives there are pretty transparent. And I think what our job is to get out and make sure that the true story is being told, that the fact that the Renewable Fuels Standard has worked, and it's worked incredibly successfully. And so, you know, moving that ahead, we know that if we want to get to a second generation of ethanol, we have to have a successful first generation. And so with that in mind, we need to continue and forge ahead with the standard as it sits.
All right, so as we go from there, opportunities that we see right now with not only distillers but other co-products, but the bottom line is price of corn, we're back in pretty good stead in the ethanol business.
Yeah, I mean, margins for January and February certainly aren't what they were last year, but they have been good. And I think the real encouraging piece of this has been found in the export demand. We're going to export 825 million gallons of ethanol this year. So there's a lot of positive. In fact, that was 825 last year, and they're anticipating 850 this year. So in spite of a strong dollar, our product continues to be reasonably priced and in demand on an international market. Take a look at the distillers' grains, and you know, just in 2014, a third of the distillers produced in the ethanol industry went to export, and 40% of that went to China, who in June of last year decided to no longer import DDGs. So it'll be interesting to see where we end up this year, but we're encouraged by the global demand for our product.
What other things are you looking for as the renewable fuels industry continues to expand, to mature? Are there some breakthroughs, or some other things that will keep this whole train moving?
Absolutely. I mean, the industry continues to undergo a tremendous amount of innovation. Innovation about the kind of corn that we buy, how we process it once it gets into the plant, and then even what we do with it once it leaves, and the addition of the co-products that come out of it. So our business continues to grow and develop, and that's the exciting part of the industry from my perspective.
All right, Chuck, well, we know you've got a lot more celebrating to do, and appreciate your time, and look forward to continuing to hear more success stories of KAAPA Ethanol and the ethanol industry.
We really appreciate you coming. Thank you.
Chuck Woodside, the CEO of KAAPA Ethanol, has joined us. That's the AgView from Kearney. I'm Ken Rogers.